Welcome back, Whisky fans, and happy December the 9th, which is International Anti-Corruption Day. I wonder who they paid off for that one. Probably someone in the SWA. Anyway, December the 9th, door number 9. Oh, come on. So that is number 9. What's that? Label away. Prepare the hat. Smells young. To be fair to the Irishman Founders Reserve yesterday, it didn't smell young. It smelled like a really good whiskey. But it was too weak. They'd put too much water in it. They'd gone too low on the strength. And yes, I know people that are new to whiskey, they might or they will prefer 40% whiskey, because if you've never had whiskey before, anything over 40% is going to burn your mouth out. We've all been there, we all remember it probably. And yeah, economical whiskey, it's got to be low strength and tax this and that. There's reasons, I know, but that whiskey just seemed like a good whiskey which was ruined by low strength. It wasn't young, it was well made. It was just crippled at the last stage in the production process. Whereas this one does smell young and spicy, but probably has a bit more body. Let's get some in the glass. Lock that back in. And into the secure hat. Oh, I knocked it over. There we go. So colour, a little bit lighter, and probably similar amount of clarity to the Irishman. Actually, no, it's quite clear. Yeah, quite clear, but light. It looks like it's natural colour at least. Unsurprisingly, you will probably say it's incredibly obvious that now it's in the glass, it smells quite a lot better. It's funny how these things go. Definitely there's youth in there. A lot of youth. I think this is well under 10 years old. But there's some juicy, malty notes in there. Quite a mineral maltiness. Slightly chalky. Dry gristiness. Lemony gristiness, which is always something I like. A little bit of a spiciness. And a little bit of a fustiness. Slightly musty. I don't think that's peat. Possibly a little bit of sort of funky dry sherry. There's a little bit of fruitiness in there other than the lemoniness. But I'm not quite sure, I can't quite put my finger on what that is. It doesn't look like it's had a great deal of sherry to it, does it? It dies away really quickly. It has quite a nice, reasonably intense arrival on the palate, but dies away very quickly. Not as bad as the Irish blend, but it does fall off very quickly. It's perhaps a little bit of a gunpowder, no slight sulphuriness. Or is that just me seeking out that strange flavour component in there that I can't quite place? I think that is a little bit of dry, meaty, very characterful sherry. Or is there something else in there as well? That's an interesting one. As for an ABV, it seems a little bit light, but I'm going to go 45, 46%. I don't think this is 43. It's not underpowered. It's just light and delicate. Like I said though, there's something in there. There's something else. I think it's a young, well-made whiskey. I think that you can tell that it's got a decent, well-made base spirit, nice lemony spirit, dry, gristy, and I think that there's some quality, dryish sherry casks gone into there. But I am wondering if there's some red wine, perhaps. Being a young whiskey, I hope it's not the dreaded STR cask, but if it is, it's not as offensively done as on the Lindores. It's a more austere style than the Irishman. I think if the Irishman was bottled at 46%, like I think this probably is, the Irishman would be much more sweet and playful and juicy, whereas this is sharper and more focused. You could almost cut yourself on how focused the base spirit of this is, which I think is really good. But there is a slight musty, slightly winey, savoury red fruits, saltiness, mealiness. I don't know if that's some meaty sherry or some meaty sherry and some red wine. I think there's a few things going on in there. Well, it's gone now, so there's only one thing left to do. What we got then? What do we think? Tastes like Scotch or possibly English. There are English whiskies with a similar style to that, like Spirit of Yorkshire. They've got that sharp, gristy, mineral barley note, and possibly partially triple distilled, which is basically what Spirit of Yorkshire are doing. It's in its sharpness, it's a little bit bimberish, but that's not cask strength, and I think everything Bimber do is cask strength, so it rules that out. But I would say Scottish or English, probably single malt, probably under 10 years old, probably 46%, probably bourbon and sherry and or red wine. It's not port or PX, because it's not got that jamminess. Let's have a look. Lochlea, so it is Scottish. It is a Scottish single malt. It is 46%. So it's Lochlea Our Barley. So that's not the first release. And I have got a review coming out very soon of a Lochlea, which is Lochlea Sowing Edition. And Sowing Edition, I was glad to get that one because it's 100% bourbon matured. I think this one's got a bit of sherry in it. Let's do a little bit of research. Yeah, matured in first fill bourbon barrels, so that was pretty obvious. Oloroso sherry casks. Now, I could tell there was sherry in there, and it seems to me like they've used very good quality, slightly drier Oloroso sherry, and STR barriques. So, yeah, STR casks. I did say that there was a little bit of an STR note in there, but it's not as heavy-handed and as offensive, and it's not as prominent and dominating as STR is in things where they mainly use STR, because STR can really overwhelm a young whiskey in my opinion, and it hasn't done that with this one. So this is another one, and it's actually another lowland whiskey, isn't it? I hadn't realised that Lochlea is another brand new lowland distillery, the same as Kingsbarn in Fife, and the other one that I mentioned 30 seconds ago, Lindores Abbey, they're a lowland distillery as well. So there's a theme there with these young lowland whiskies using STR casks. Sometimes it works very well, sometimes a little bit less so. I'd say that this one is about in the middle. I don't like this as much as I liked the 100% Bourbon Lochlea Sowing Edition, but I do like it. So let me know what you thought of this one if you're tasting along at home, and what you think of Lochlea. And very interested to know, if you have tried this, what do you think about those STR casks? I think they're definitely less noticeable in this one, but does kind of make me question how necessary they were. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.